Alright, I've got these, the Richard Corbin ones. Now, I'm not after as much the cards, and I've got these, Adventures in Fantasy by Michael Whelan. I'm really after any kind of Prism cards that come in them. And anything I noticed that I know. But outside of that, these will go in to be sold for anything for stuff, so I'm not really big on keeping a bunch of these, but we'll look through them. And some of these fantasy artists, I will say, can be related more to, adult-oriented art, so, and again, y'all gotta give me a minute. You know what? Maybe I need to raise it just a tad. I don't want to back this up too much. Oh, look at that. There we go. Okay. So, as you see, these are always neat looking cards. Like I've got some from Morbius, which I kept the Phantom ones and stuff like that. But as a whole, it's really just the art of this individual that they put together. So if I don't find anything overly appealing, I'm not looking to keep any of it. Unless it's related to something I know. Now that was the Richard Corbin pack, and I've got one more of those. And then like I said, I'll go through them. I like how this is comics over here. I'm really trying to get more of the, as I'm going through all my cards, I'm trying to get the Prism ones and oddities of all kinds. It just is what I'm keeping. I'm not looking to complete a set of. And like I said, this don't look as if I'm getting any Prism cards with it. And most of these aren't really extremely expensive anyway. I bought these probably at less than $1 a pack when I bought them. But like sometimes some of these artists will do a Conan. We'll do a Phantom or a Shadow character. Okay, now that was the Richard Corbin ones. Now this is the Fantasy of Michael Whelan. Sometimes you'll recognize work of people once you start seeing it, but sometimes by name I don't. And yeah, in a second, they're coming apart like that. That's the other thing I worry about with some of these is, some of this gloss actually caused some of these to break a little bit. That's like my Cyndi Lauper cards, in which I got. I was looking for the Hulk Hogan, and guess what? I got it. But they were bricked together like somebody soaked the cards somehow in between, so it had a tear mark on one of the cards. Now this one I will keep because this is says Elric, I believe so. That's out of Stormbreaker, I think was one of the series for it. So, stuff like that does appeal to me, that, his characters I know. Um, and again, like I said, I can see whole sets of them just breaking together here, and that was the one thing I will say about the gloss during this time. They did not do a good job of actually making sure it didn't stick to each other. You get lucky sometimes. They just separate pretty easy. And other times they basically will grab onto each other and you won't pull them apart without tearing them to pieces. Now there's that card again, and then a pretty wild looking one right there. Like I said, I'm kind of wanting that one was partially open. Now I know the seller who sold these to me, and he's a pretty straightforward guy. He's a place over where I go to sell my comics and stuff, and he's got a shop next door, so not worried about the fact that he searched something or done anything, but I think it's just time has split these up like it has. And it's funny, there's that one again. And like I said, there's some great images, some beautiful work, but it's just as I look at my collection, I'm narrowing down these things that just don't, if it don't look like it holds any reason for me to keep. Last one of these. Like I said, I'd like to see what the Prism, I kept thinking I had one. And it could have been even in the stuff I was getting rid of in this. That was just a weird looking one. It's the same thing now. Some of these will do what they consider to be just, quote, fantasy work like this. Some throw in a splash of more adult related looking stuff that they do with it. Boris Vallejo and Julie Bell, they kind of tend to skirt that edge a lot of times, even though they have some beautiful work and have done work for Marvel with some of their cards. And like I said, I know that I've took stacks of these in which I got rid of. So that's it. That's fantasy cards. Nothing, no specialty in there per se. Just like I said, just some great looking work. Basically a lot of the work being shrunk down. On the back, if you look, is really just a description each time telling you that that's the well of Shurian or whatever it is from 1977 when he done the original work, and then it tells you about it and stuff. So it's kind of neat if you've been a person who's actually maybe followed this artist's work. But again, I just like certain ones that I'm trying to grab anyway. So that's it. That's the cards. I figured I would try to post a few of these as I'm just kind of opening up to go through some of these that I'm, as I get rid of stuff and do things. So hopefully you enjoyed it. I appreciate you all for watching, and y'all have a good day.